viewers. And so here we are then, racing on the third of the Project Cars videos, racing in, I think it's an LMP2 car, and racing around the US now. Different circuits in the US tend to be a bit more bumpy. And again, PlayStation 4 versions, you can see, and using the helmet cam, which looks fantastic, doesn't it? Look at the detail on that helmet cam. They're racing up the hill. Now, I wasn't going flat out. I didn't know, again, this was my first run in this car, racing on this circuit, and only run on this car on this circuit, as we had limited time. Great detail to see, and of course this first lap really very much for me is a sort of learn the limits of the car on the circuit. You have such limited time, but I wanted to show the full race rather than just show you one lap, the second lap, as you get a bit quicker. And of course I'm using the helmet cam, different views as well. So looking to close up on these guys now. I'm getting a better idea in terms of the grip. This car grips really well. Closing up on the guys in front, who aren't hanging around, it has to be said. Great audio on the replay. Again, do select the view. The views are selectable. So if you do want to just watch the replay full screen, you can do that just by clicking on the view and enjoying that view. Great audio in that viewpoint, has to be said, and great replay angles. Look at that, really nice to see the TV aspect. I'm just slightly oversteering there. I'm hitting those curbs and that's unbalancing the car. You don't want to be doing that, but really it's for me in terms of using the controller. You jump out of a car in terms of the Aston Martin, you jump in here and suddenly you've got way more grip and way more turning capacity, so it's a challenge sort of jumping from one car to another and having completely different handling. But as we complete that first lap, got a much better feel for it now. Just trying the different sort of T-cam view here as well. Wanted to select some different views. Whoa! You can see there, lost a bit of grip, and that's cost me an opportunity probably for a run at these cars at the end of this section. Either way, flat out through there this time. Lost a little bit of time. The cars in front are going flat out as well, so it's not as easy just closing up down the straight as it would be. So I'm trying to carry a bit more speed this time. I've learned on that first lap and just trying to see how much we can hang on this time. Grip's working well in the car. Getting a good feel for it. So using more of the circuit this time, and that means quite a bit more speed. But you can see for yourself in terms of suspension and the way it's moving around and the car's moving around, it's really nice sort of intuitive feel to it. Again, using the controller. So with the wheel users, I always find for me of the wheel there's so much more depth with the wheel, and it's nice to see how it's converted to the console. I mean, this is something more than a lot of console fans will have been used to. I mean, you could, in terms of simulation, obviously PlayStation fans have Gran Turismo. I really enjoyed Race Pro a few years ago as well. Had a lot of fun on that at the time. It was a fun, if broken, game in its own way, but for console fans, they've always been limited in terms of the depth that's available in their racing games. And you know, it's something which there is this sort of idea that console fans don't need depth in some way, which I've always found to be quite frustrating, because you say, what are the top two racing games? Forza and Gran Turismo. They're also the games with the most depth to them. Nobody seemed to. I think Need for Speed was the one that everybody seemed to focus on. But moving on with the full screen run now, after that first 2 laps, and we can see here the different viewpoint of the car here. Before changing, of course, to the helmet cam, and the detail that we see in that view as well. I hope you're all enjoying the different viewpoints that I've tried to put together here, just to give you guys the maximum in terms of the coverage that we've got and the availability that we've had to the PS4 version. I know that you've all been looking forward to it for some time, and I'm sure that this will be cause for a lot of analysis, no doubt, on different forums as to what's best. But you know, in terms of frame rate at the moment, obviously you're seeing the frame rate as it is. These videos are processed in 1080p 60, so you'll see frame rate drops if and when they occur, but at the same time it's a work in progress, and as you can see, it's running so far very smoothly indeed. So it's coming along nicely, and this is still a work in progress build. We're still having couple of months until launch. It's nice to see how the team have been working tirelessly to translate it to the console versions. So we attempt to close up on these guys in front. Depth of field effect, of course, in the helmet cam, something which the team introduced in the Shift games years ago. It's a nice little effect as well. I like it. Adds a little bit of detail. They also use it in the replay cams as well. Helmet cam, of course, they've used helmet cam, refined it and built it to this point. I found helmet cam to be off-putting in, say, something like Shift 2. Not so here. I found it to be pretty intuitive. I tend to use it a lot though. On the triple screen rig I turn head movement off because obviously I can turn my own head, so I don't need it doing it for me. But in terms of the intensity of the experience, you're just not going to get any closer to the real thing. And of course the PC version will always have things that it can do that the console versions can't do. You know, that's going to be a given. It costs more for a PC that can do that. But in terms of the console game that does everything that you want it to do in terms of translating Project Cars, certainly the team's done a good job there. And you can see the rear view mirrors are working and all the details there as well. So surface detail on the track is fantastic. That's something that's always been pretty good, and they've worked on here all the different effects and tyre marks. You know, that's what gives the track its life. It gives it, you know, otherwise it feels sterile. It gives it more of a gritty feel, more of a real racing feel. That was something for years where we have bland track surface textures and it was just a carpet going round and people weren't putting in the real detail, especially in the braking zones like we see there. But you think, no, there's different bits of tarmac, there's bumps, there's weather wear, there's cracks, there's tyre marks, there's oil marks and everything else. I mean, there's lots of debris and dirt that builds up on the track surface, and it's nice to see that they've sort of converted that and giving it that realistic look. So I try and work my way around there, mindful that other car was there, and ended up braking a little bit later, but it was an opportunity. What was I thinking? I don't know. Got on that curb and suddenly realised it was sucking me off, so lucky not to fall out of the race entirely, but realised that was my opportunity for passing. There wasn't going to be another opportunity after that. But the AI there, as you can see, putting up a good race, and so far so good. So moving on to the replay of that run. Replay, you may have already seen earlier in the video, pretty good, I have to say. Replay is absolutely fantastic. Good audio as well. Let's have a listen to that. Really nice sound to some of the audio effects there in the replay cam. You know, there are the odd few visual bits and pieces that you might note throughout the video, but I wanted to show you the replay cam simply because look at that, looking fantastic sweeping around that bend. Really nice to see. So many replay cams just get it so wrong, and I'm going to keep saying this because, you know, it's important. I think replays are a really important part of any racing game, and there's something which is so neglected in so many racing games for so long, and it's great to see that Slightly Mad have done a good job with that. You will see the odd visual bug or glitch. That's all a work in progress, but I wanted to show you the full race, to show you where they are right now, and again point out this is an early version and everything is a work in progress, so no doubt the team will be working hard to really iron out any bugs and make the game as solid as possible before launch. We come round at the top of the hill, closing on these other cars. Lost a lot of ground early on, just simply learning the circuit, but as I work my way up now, we can see, look at that, really does look good the way the car moves over the bumps, gives it an authentic feel. Nearly losing it there. You can see the car just lost grip, and that kind of lost me the opportunity of passing this car probably at the end of this next straight. Always a good overtaking spot if you can get a run. So Alas, not this time. Everybody's going pretty much flat out, so we close in. High speed chicane. Again, I really like those sweeping curves that we see from this viewpoint. It's really great to race when you record your own races and giving you that race driver feel. Obviously, different cars, different circuits. It's going to look really spectacular. Racing this during the day, during the night, during the rain. You're already getting an idea, but I really felt that the sunshine was appropriate. We come up towards the last few corners of this run. I go around the outside, of course I was on the inside there, not knowing quite where he was. Braking a little bit too late, and then getting on that curb, losing a bit of grip there, and that didn't help either. A little mark on the barrier, that's nice to see. And settling now for this position and thinking, well, I'm just going to keep the car going, see if an opportunity presents itself. But braking as late as I can, unable to make it through this time, but that concludes this video, and there'll be more from me very soon.